Good morning, Dan. Thank you for joining me today. Can you introduce yourself to the Informs membership?
Yeah, thanks, Kara. I'm super thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me. So I'm Dan Hudson. I'm a Director of Applied Technology for the Mission Technologies Division of Huntington Ingalls Industries, or HII, and I've been an Informs member since 2011, so going on 12 years now.
Awesome. We're glad to have you with us. So tell us how you got to where you are in your career and when you first discovered Informs.
Yeah, so fair to say it's been a nonlinear path for me. I started my professional life by enlisting in the Marine Corps right out of high school, and I served as an electronics technician for about 4 years. And then I received a Secretary of the Navy appointment to the Naval Academy, where I studied aerospace engineering, focused on astronautics, so things like rocket science, satellite design.
Literal rocket science, yeah.
Astrophysics. At the time, I was aspiring to be, someday, a mission specialist for NASA, working in space to conduct experiments, exploration, all to advance our state of knowledge for the benefit of humankind. So I ended up taking a commission as a Navy diver and submarine warfare officer in the Navy and served in that capacity for about 7 years. And then fast forward, life happens, right? I got married, started to raise a family, my priorities changed, and so from there I went to work for the Johns Hopkins Armstrong Institute for Patient Safety and Quality, where I was looking at bringing principles and practices from my military experience, especially my Navy nuclear experience, into the healthcare setting to improve patient safety and quality. After that, I ended up transitioning to a federal civilian employee role with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, where I was focused on building probabilistic risk models for nuclear facilities to help make better informed regulatory and policy decisions, ultimately aimed at improving the safety and reliability of nuclear facilities and to protect public health and safety. And that's really where my passion for data science and advanced analytics took off.
Wow. So you were well into a career before this passion showed up.
Yeah, I was fascinated by the agency's use of data and analytics techniques and technologies to help make better decisions in the public's interest. And was fortunate while I was there to get a graduate fellowship that enabled me to get my master's degree in reliability engineering and a PhD in health policy and management. And it was in the early stages of my time in graduate school that I discovered Informs. And I became a member then. I was looking for a community of professionals that were passionate around these areas of operations research and analytics. And so that's where the connection began. For the past 5 years, I've been working on the private sector side now, leading data science and advanced analytics teams, solving problems for a range of federal agencies in the areas of healthcare and public health, reliability and safety of engineered systems, cybersecurity and intelligence, and risk management. And it's been a fascinating journey for me.
Yeah, that's an awesome path. We can end the interview now. That was great. So how do you define analytics? Informs has its own definition. How would you define it?
So I'll say that I embrace the Informs definition of analytics, and I believe that the organization went through a pretty rigorous process to land on what they landed on. I think the basic premise is it's this scientific process of transforming data into insights for making better decisions. And that's fully consistent with how I think about analytics, right? You can't have analytics without having data to analyze and to transform from raw data into insights. And then from the scientific process perspective, you need mathematical and scientific rigor to draw meaningful and robust insights and conclusions from the data. And then at the end of it, what's, in my view, most important is the decision aspect, right? You're ultimately looking at making better decisions, getting actionable insights that will help you make a better decision than you would have made in the absence of using analytics.
Great, thank you. So how about any advice for analytics or data science students who are almost about to graduate and trying to decide between a career in industry or academia?
To be in their shoes again. I've worked in both the public and private sectors now, and I've had the opportunity to collaborate with a lot of colleagues who are on the academia side of things. And I guess my recommendation to them would be to be flexible and adapt sort of an agile mindset to these big decisions for themselves in terms of where they want to go after graduation. While they have the luxury of doing it, take the opportunity to conduct some small-scale experiments, do an internship, work with a mentor who can help guide you along the way. Get a little bit of experience that you can learn from and use that information to help make this decision around where to go after school. And I guess another thing that I would encourage them to adopt is sort of a resilient attitude that while it seems like a super big decision to them right now, understandably, it's not going to define them. They will have the ability to adapt as circumstances change and make some moves along the way. And it's one of the things that I love about the data science and advanced analytics field is that because we address such a wide range of problems and there is such a demand for the skill set that we bring and the kinds of value that we can offer to organizations, I think the opportunity cost associated with any particular job decision is lower in our profession than it might be somewhere else. The ability to pivot and make some changes is, I think, easier here within our profession than maybe elsewhere.
Yeah, that is good advice for anyone, really, though. It's always fascinating to me how young you are when you have to decide what you want to do with the rest of your life. Right? But you can make the change. It doesn't matter. Speaking of change, how have you seen the analytics field change since you first entered it in grad school, I guess?
Yeah, so I would say that I entered it about 5 years or so before then.
Okay.
But while I was in the early stages of graduate school, that's when Tom Davenport published his now infamous article around data scientists being the sexiest job of the 21st century, right? And I think a lot of big changes have happened since then, and probably too many to enumerate or list out here, so I'll focus on a few of the big ones that I see. One is that since then we've seen widespread adoption of data science and advanced analytics across a number of domains and industries. Which is, a positive story for us in our community. The second is the explosion of big data, cloud computing, more sophisticated machine learning and deep learning algorithms that are improving the accuracy of predictions. It's scalable. It's much more cost effective in the cloud. And so, in my view, that is something that in our community we need to pay attention to, and we need to make sure that we're moving in the right direction as well. We need to be proficient in a cloud computing environment. And then I guess the third is that we've seen growing use of automation and AI-enabled analytics, right? We're increasingly seeing certain parts of the data science and advanced analytics workflow being automated to reduce the time, increase the speed to insight, and that's great. But I think it's also introduced some challenges for data and analytics professionals to really understand where they fit in the overall process and how they need to evolve over time to keep pace with these advances.
Yeah. I was waiting for the AI to come in there. So the work that you do at HII, would you say that work saves lives, saves money, or solves problems?
I would say all the above.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And why?
So
how?
The kinds of work that we're doing right now it's focused on bringing digital engineering and enabling technology solutions to ultimately enhance the operational readiness of Navy weapons platforms like aircraft carriers, surface ships, submarines, Some of these kinds of solutions are in the model-based systems engineering and model-based product support domain. We're developing digital twins. We're leveraging data science and advanced analytics and intelligent automation. We're using these technology solutions to ultimately solve problems around maintenance delays and supply chain delays that are impacting the ability of our Navy warships to fulfill their mission. So we're solving that problem. We're developing solutions that are realizing cost savings by developing more efficient maintenance and supply chain practices. And in my view, we're ultimately saving lives because we're improving the ability of our Navy weapons platforms to fulfill their national security and national defense missions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have recently been appointed to the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine Standing Committee on Aerospace Medicine and the Medicine of Extreme Environments. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But I am super excited beyond words about being a part of that committee. So it's sponsored by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. And so the committee serves to help NASA address a wide range of research and policy issues around astronaut health and safety. It's comprised of a diverse group that includes experts in medicine, environmental and occupational health, nuclear and radiation physics, ethics, law, and as you might imagine, it's important to have the astronaut experience covered through the committee's work. So we have a few former astronauts on our committee as well. As we look ahead to putting people back on the moon in preparation for missions to Mars, there's a whole spectrum of issues that NASA is confronting, and our committee is helping inform them around how to conduct the right research, inform policy decisions along the way. So I'm super excited to be contributing to that, to be a data science and advanced analytics person that is contributing to these discussions. So I look forward to learning so much more and contributing where I can.
Is that like a dream come true for you, as you know, starting out with rocket science and wanting to go to space, I guess?
So for me,
your childhood dream.
yeah, right. So I mean, because of life's twists and turns, I made some choices along the way to prioritize certain aspects of life, and so I put that desire to be working out in space to the side for important reasons. The committee's work, I feel like this enables me to address, a bit of a gap, I guess, that existed there in terms of the kinds of things that I wanted to be contributing to during the course of my professional life. So it's been wonderful in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. So you're also a member of several Informs communities, including the Analytics Society, the Military and Security Society, and the Practice section. Why do you find this engagement so important with Informs and the communities specifically? Yeah,
so I think it's important to belong to communities that are focused on the breadth of what we do. And for me, that aligns with the Analytics Society and the Practice section. But I think it's also important to combine that with membership in communities that are focused on problems and challenges that you might confront within a specific domain, right? And so the Military and Security Society addresses that need for me, since I am now doing work that is focused on national security and national defense. In the past, when I was focused more on addressing problems related to healthcare and public health, I was part of the Health Applications Society. And so it's one of the things that I appreciate about my membership in Informs is that I can make some of those adjustments along the way and find communities of practice within Informs as my needs are changing over time.
Yeah, that's great. Are you still involved with the Health Applications Society, or you just kind of swapped to military?
So I have swapped for now, and I'll just say for now, because I still have a lot of interest in supporting work in healthcare and public health. It's just that my narrow focus right now is in this domain, so I'm going to be laser focused on that for now. But
But that's what the Analytics Society is for too, then, right? For all of those domains.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have earned the Certified Analytics Professional designation, and thank you for wearing your pin.
Yep, I have my pin on.
Yes,
Proudly
and
wear it.
You are a member of the Analytics Certification Board. So tell us about the importance of the CAP program and the ACB.
Yeah, so I'm an early adopter of CAP. I earned my certification back in 2014. I was really excited at the time to see that Informs had this initiative around developing a framework for certifying the critical technical skills and soft skills that were really going to be needed and that organizations would value in bringing data science and advanced analytics solutions. So I pursued the certification. I felt like for me, it provided, one, an external validation of my own competencies because of the framework that had been established. Two, I thought it was going to be a discriminator to help set me apart from the crowd when I was looking at opportunities in front of me. And three, I viewed it as sort of a forcing function that would help me make a case for why I needed to invest in continual learning and professional development and working with my employers. So I thought that was super important. Yeah. And today, as a leader and hiring manager who is often seeking talent in this area, I rely on the CAP certification to help me tease apart the signal from the noise, right? We're all stretched for time and attention, and there's only so much information that you can glean through the hiring process about a particular individual. So seeing the CAP designation after an individual's name gives me more confidence that they have the right set of competencies that I'm looking for. And the second part of your question was about the Analytics Certification Board. So I was recently elected to be a member of the board. The ACB sets standards and governs the overall CAP certification process. And I think it's a really interesting time to be a member of the board as we look at some of the emerging trends, some of the things that I highlighted earlier, right, in terms of how the analytics field has changed over time. And in infusing some perspectives around how the certification may need to change over time to address the emerging trends that we're observing. So it's a really exciting time to be a member of the board.
Cool to be part of that. So back to as a hiring manager, would you be just as happy to see an ACAP on somebody's resume?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the nature of the role, right? ACAP is designed for some of the more junior individuals that may not yet have developed the professional experience base, but they've met some educational requirements. I still believe, if I'm looking at a position at that level, having the ACAP certification would certainly be something that stood out to me as another validation of this individual's competencies. Yeah. Again, it's all about limited time and attention, limited information. When you have a sea of applicants that are coming in front of you, having that designation behind your name means something to me. It gives me greater confidence.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Which Informs publication do you read the most, and why?
Oh, yeah. I'd say just like my membership in certain sections of Informs has changed over time, I'd say the publications that I pay attention to and read a lot have also changed over time. I certainly monitor my email and look forward to the Informs e-news and Analytics magazine publications that come out. I think those emails and the links to the articles are packed with timely and relevant information for me. So I use those a lot. In terms of journals, it's evolved over time, right? In the earlier stages, I was focused more on decision analysis applications, and so I read the Decision Analysis Journal a lot. These days, I'm focused more on the Journal of Applied Analytics, and I'm really excited about the new Journal on Data Science and seeing what kinds of content we're going to have access to through that publication.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for mentioning the magazines. So we're here in Aurora for the Business Analytics Conference. So can you describe an Informs conference to someone who's never been to one? to entice them to come also.
Yeah.
Don't scare anyone away.
I'll try not to scare them away. So my experience with Inform's conferences is that they're at once a super welcoming environment, and at the same time, it just might be the highest density or concentration of intelligence combined with that in one space. So you meet incredibly bright yet welcoming and approachable individuals at these events. The agendas are packed, and you are sure to find tracks that perfectly align with some of the interests that you have. And I'm always excited about the activities around the Franz Edelman Award, the biggest prize that we offer in this community. So from the presentations that the individual teams are giving all the way up to the Edelman Gala, which is super elegant, has a feel of like red carpet type
Oscars
event.
For the analytics.
Yeah, red carpet type event. It's all just super cool as we acknowledge our colleagues who are bringing data science and advanced analytics solutions to address really hard problems out there.
Yeah, I like how you said that. All the intelligence is awesome and intimidating, right? Don't you think? Like having all of these people here. For us outside of the industry anyway. So tell us something that not many people know about you. Any hidden talents?
I don't know about the hidden talents part, but there are
something not on your resume.
Probably a few things that don't show up on my resume that a lot of people don't know about me. And one of those is that like the infamous Ferdinand Magellan expedition, I have circumnavigated the globe. But I did it in a much easier way. I did a quick lap around the North Pole when I was deployed on a fast attack submarine. So
cool.
Quite a bit easier than what Magellan and his crew dealt with back in the days. Another thing is I love karaoke and dancing. So I've been known to jumpstart wedding parties and getting people out on the dance floor. And if Party Rock Anthem is in the queue.
I was going to say, what's your go-to?
You better watch out. I'm going to be out there. So, maybe a bit of a side hustle or future career for me there.
What's your go-to karaoke song? Also Party Rock Anthem? That's just your favorite dance?
No, that's my dancing one. That's not a karaoke thing. It varies depending on the mood, but I typically tap into hits from Elton John, Journey, Bon Jovi. Those are some Queen. Those are some of my go-to artists. And then what else? I am in fact the notorious Conor McGregor from UFC fame. And I'm obviously kidding there.
Yes.
But I can't.
Do you get that a lot?
I have lost count of the number of times people have stopped me in public places trying to get a selfie with me, asking for my autograph. I sometimes play along. And I've joked around with my wife about trying to arrange a McGregor versus McGregor matchup in the UFC. So Dana White, I'm looking at you. Let's make it happen.
That's so funny. So what does a typical weekend look like for you when you're not busting moves and karaokeing?
Typical weekend, well, my wife Becca and I have 3 boys at home. So Jake is 16, Theo is 6, Ben is 3, and the 2 younger ones still have quite the tendency to make our home a disaster, like little tornadoes coming through. So, and to be honest, a lot of weekends are spent just restoring order to the home. But I do love some manual labor and getting out and doing yard work, and when I can fit it in, swimming laps in the local pool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have 3 girls. My 2 youngest are the same age as your 2 youngest, so I know exactly what that house looks like. So finally, my last question is, what does one do with a secret clearance from the U.S. Department of Defense? Can you tell us, or would you then have to kill me?
Well,
I saw that on your LinkedIn. So I had to ask.
No killing is necessary, as long as you're also cleared and have a need to know.
Yeah, I think I do for this, maybe.
Anyways, all kidding aside, for a lot of the work that you do in the national security and national defense space, a clearance is needed. Sometimes you're dealing with data and information that if it got into the wrong hands, if it's inappropriately disclosed, can present various degrees of damage to our national security. And so, I used to be on active duty in the Navy and had even a higher clearance then. But as a defense contractor now, some of the work that I do deals with that kind of information. And I think for data science and advanced analytics professionals, it's important to recognize that if this is an area that you want to work in, national defense, national security, the clearance part is going to become important. And it also imposes some additional requirements and challenges that you have to be sensitive to when you're thinking about your data science and advanced analytics solutions.
Yeah, that's interesting. Can an individual get secret clearance, or because of your role, you get the clearance?
So individuals get cleared,
yeah,
and it's ultimately driven by your need to know.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. So, even though I held a top secret, sensitive compartmented information clearance back in the past, now I'm at the secret level because I haven't had a need through my work to maintain that kind of clearance.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately driven by need.
Yeah. Plus it sounds cool.
So. It does sound cool.
That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much, Dan.
Oh, this was fun.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this.
No problem.